There's a lot of historic damage in the speed post. So if you look closely, these are the spot welds, some of which have been drilled out. Then we've got little blobs of MIG here, MIG weld where they've reattached it, and then it's been cut through here, and then we've got a weld through here where it's been cut there. You see some lead in here, and it's trying to sort of bubble up in there. Must have got some corrosion in behind it. Got a split there. Again, as we go down here, spot welds have been drilled out, but there's bits of weld on here. That looks more like gas actually. It's quite light, but we'll see. That's all got to come off. Then, you know, not a very nice weld there that's also split there. And we've got some rust in it. So I think let's get this off. See what we got. Then obviously we've got repairs in here, but yeah, you can see down in here. Got a fair bit to do on that. Well, that wasn't look too bad. Bit of corrosion in it. Split there. We'll salvage this. See, it's been dented up there for some reason, probably from messing around in there. I'll take that off, we'll straighten that. Repair, obviously this is going to get replaced, all this lot, straighten this out. Should be alright. That appears to have a little weld through there, so we'll cut that through there. Now we can see what's going on with this, we'll probably just split that. Yeah, you can see the weld. Right, so now we want to get this off. So I'll bend it forward so I can get onto the welds. And then drill these spot welds out. So all this damage in here is where they've been pushing through there to straighten the other bit out. Yeah, drill these spot welds out, that'll come off. And we straighten it and put it back on. I can also do all this, can't I, in here. All this nasty stuff in here can be done. Don't you hear that Merlin? It's a bit far going by. We're on the flight path, so most days it's sunny, you get to see them. Or not if you're stuck in the workshop. There we are. So you can see all the damage in this. And that's not from me. But yeah, you can see, I reckon make a new one of them. And it's pretty nasty, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, then we can see all this damage in here, what we've got to deal with here. See all this stuff? There's a blob of MIG there where they filled it up. Is it, or is that something? No, it's sealant. Bit tarry stuff. Yeah, this can all be straightened out. I'm going to hammer all that straight. We've got a few creases in here. Nothing too much. This will straighten out quite nicely, I think. The other side did, didn't it? What do you reckon? Lunchtime. That's what I reckon. It looks like this whole thing's got to come that way. But also, if you look at this line through here, see, that should be in there, but you see it's quite flat through here. See, look at that. And then sort of flared out here. If we look at the other side, it's distinctly different. So yeah, so we've got things in here as well, haven't we? Like all this lot. And that should be folded there, and it's sort of ended up sort of shallowed out a bit. So yeah, let's have a look at this side. See what I mean about here, this area? But then look at that. Shape here. And then the shape here. See what I mean? Now obviously this has got work, needs doing here, but what we're really looking is that. So I think I need to get a template off this to use on that side. All that. And then going into here. Completely different, isn't it? Not damaged there. It's all been pushed in this way. And then some of it's been beaten out, but we'll have to see. So it's cleaned up. You can clearly see this weld. And you could see it before it was cleaned. There's a lot of work's been going on in here. See this sort of bit? See the marks there? That's where they're punched through, and then we see our weld doesn't line up properly. See? So we'll have to sort all that out, straighten this out. Rust repairs. But yeah, here's where they've chased it in. So they're chasing it in through there, don't they? Yeah, that's what they were for. Where they bashed all that in. So I'm going to get some primer on this. We'll see. I might straighten it out. We'll straighten it to begin with anyway, no matter what, just to see what we got. Even if we make new, we need to straighten it for a pattern. Yeah, it's a bit beat up, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of this is from accident damage, but also all these splits are where someone's put something through it to try and straighten the other bits out, I think. But anyway, I'll have a go at straightening it and see what we got. Well, that's a bit straighter, but I still think we'll, I think I'll make a new one. I think it's a bit nasty, isn't it? And there's too much sort of corrosion at the ends of this. But it gives me something to work with, doesn't it? So you'll see I've straightened out that wheel tub. All these dents in here where they'd sort of driven them up in from behind and they'd punched them holes in them, so I've welded them up. And it's marked through here to get that shape right. And you remember we were looking at that shape and what it's going to be like next door? So you can see there, that follows the shape of the side of the car effectively. But when we get round to this side, you see it ain't like that at all, is it? And all this stuff in here. So in light of that, I put the tanks in just to give us an idea of what's going on. So we can see the damage in the tank here where it's pushed in and it's all dented in there. So that's all to do with that impact, which would line up with that and all the stuff that's been going on in here. So that's that one. And you can see it's sort of bent here. It must have gone in a bit there. And that's where this comes out for the join, you know, for the balance tube, it goes through here. Now that one's not lining up, mainly because I put that bracket on. Remember I welded that bracket on for pulling it? Look at that video if you want to see more about that. And of course this piece is missing here. This piece is missing through there. You've seen all this before. If you look at the videos, you'll see this. But yeah, so again, I'm looking at this one to see what's going on. So we've got a dent in here, haven't we? That seems to be dented in there. This is all pushed in here, which lines up with all this damage, doesn't it? So that's there. This side of it's not too bad. But what I have noticed, and what you'll see, is where this tank's gone forwards like that, we've got this ridge goes around it. You can see what sort of happened up in the end here. I'll move that back with one-handed. Yeah, you can see that ridge. See the dent in there. This dent here. Well, that's to do with this ridge going forwards and hitting there, so I need to straighten that out. So I was just confirming that's what's happened there. So yeah, you see. So I'll straighten that out. And I also think it's in here, it's been pushed forwards this lot a bit. So I'm going to push that back out a bit. And then we can start sorting out these on the other side, all that on the other side. So we're getting there. All that needs doing before we can put this B post back in. Well, there's a lot more besides. You can see how dented that tank is. Now, I'll probably do a bit to straighten these tanks out, but you know, that'll come a bit later on. With the fuel tanks back out, we'll have a better look at that. You see, there's that. Now I think also this area's gone in a bit, so I think we'll just look at that. I think that should be straight, and I think it's pushed in the middle. So you can see the sort of gap we've got there. See sort of gaps there, gaps through there. You can see that very well like that. But basically, yeah, that whole area's gone forwards, so we've got to pull that back out, straighten that out. Then this side, looking at this side, if anything, it's gone the other way. You see? See, I think that one's been pushed in and then pushed back that way, in that direction. So if we have a look at this other one we've got in, there's another one in next door, we're going to have a look at that. And they look flat through there. Well, we're looking at this at a different angle, obviously, and it's full of stuff. But I think we can see what we're trying to do. So it's this area here we're looking at, and that looks to me flat, doesn't it, through there and through there, and a little bit of curved up there. But certainly the other side, the other car was pushed in there. So it's definitely got to be straighter through there. And if we look at the other side, to sort of double check, and we see, you see it's straight, that should be a straight edge. I think through there, I think through here, a lot straighter, fairly flat through there. So yeah, I think that's it. There, can we see that? So let's try and close that up a bit. Better. I'd like to get a bit out there if I can. That lines up with where that ridge went in. So we'll see what we get with that in a minute. Okay, so a former here, give me an idea of what shape this is. My old truck going in the yard. Oh, it's a lot better. It's pretty much there, isn't it? A little bit more work, we'll be all right, won't we? That'll do. Now, when working with steel, always remember to take the burrs off it. That's just on there, wasn't it? I just caught it. So there you go. Oh dear. Well, I hope you're going to pass out the sight of blood. I know some do. There we are. Made some more gauges. Gives an idea of the shape, you see. Let's see. There's our B. Oh, it's not that tight, that one. You can see a lot of daylight, but it doesn't matter. It gives us an idea. And there's our A. Anyway, you get an idea, don't you? It gives us something to work with. So, these are all marked out. Done the same next door. Let's have a look. See what I mean? We complained about a bit of daylight, weren't we? Right. Yeah. But yeah, we've got to straighten this out, haven't we? Straighten out through here, all this. I think we're going to have to pull this a bit. Or push it, I don't know. We're going to have to get this right out, aren't we? Get that shape right again. So yeah, I think we need a measurement from inside here to there, don't we? So what we got? 31 centimetres. That's not too bad actually, is it? About 10 mil out. You know, you'd thought that'd be worse than that. That gives us a start though, doesn't it? We can do the same with these points. Can't we? The plan here is to give it a pull. I fabricated this up, and that lies on that line, doesn't it, you see? And that bolts through the plate underneath. And what we're trying to do is pull this out that way. Then I can try and straighten this out and so forth over the other side. And we're trying to get it to that, aren't we? To be something more like that one. See? Let's come out a bit. So the idea is with the tension on here, that as I smooth this out, it will tend to sort of help push as well as this pulling. That's the idea anyway. think we're going to want this off. So let's see if we can just split it. Yeah, you see, look, it's a bit wonky in it. I'll do that on the bench. And then it's just a little run of weld there, but you can see it'll split anyway in there. So I think with that out, we can now address this. I'll put that on afterwards, and we've got a lot of damage here and some rust. So we might make a lower for this, and obviously in there, but we need to get it straight first. So let's concentrate on getting it straight first and see what we got. That's a lot better. You've got the remains of a weld here, which you need to take off. Now I need to straighten this up. Might even need a bit of heat to get that back, because it's quite tough, this. But we'll see, it's a lot better, isn't it? So I should be able to straighten some of this out, but this actually does have a fold through here, through this line here. But I'm going to have to straighten it a bit to then put it back in. Anyway, you get the idea, don't you? Open that up, isn't it? Hoping to salvage this. I think it's going to happen. So I'm going to make a new bit. Now I've got to do the return on this. A bit more shape's got to go into it. Obviously you've got to work out what's going on with this bit. But it looks like I've got to, I've had to take that off. So I'm going to replace this back bit. That just isn't going to play ball. And there's rot in it anyway down the bottom here. It's pretty much from there. I've got to replace it anyway. So I thought, well, come up to there. Good place to stop. Again, this, peppered here, isn't it? And in there. So that's going to be done. This has come up all right. And then this area's come up all right. And then here, and then to get in behind that, I've got to take it off anyway. So yeah, you can see the damage in here. That's where it welds through there. Behind here, there's a weld. So I'll take that off. I'll leave that bit on. Leave that on there, it gives me the datums, and then I'll straighten all this out behind this bit here that I can't get to. So that's the plan. But yeah, that'll work. Now I'll grind this off through here carefully with the air sander on it. Now the other reason for taking that lot off is so I can get to the inside and clean it up. So I've managed to brush off all the rust, but you can see how many dents and things we've got in here. But all this can come out now I can get to it. But yeah, if we look up here, I don't know if you can see that. You see the shrinker marks? From air cold shrinker? That had been from manufacturing. There, you see them? Those little sort of pimples or cross hatches. Well, that's from an air cold shrinker when they were manufacturing it. A lot of these other bits, you know, build up a rust that still have a bit more cleaning up to do, but a lot of the other creases are from this accident damage, you can see. But the air colds on the top and the bottom of them, well, of course that's, you know, if you put that air cold on top of these ridges and, you know, hills and valleys, it wouldn't do that. So you can see it's in the bottom of the valley and the top of the hills. So that's obviously from manufacturing, and all this is damage. So yeah, the plan is to sort this out. So I've come a long way with this lot. You know, all this, I've already come a long way with this. It's a very typically weird way of doing things, these Maseratis. This little triangulation piece here, you know, it's rotted out there, but you can see it's just a little way of joining this panel to that panel. And then that one is this panel here, where it comes down. And then that is the remains of this outside piece that would go up to here. And then obviously that's that one through here, you see. We've got this, I've got to make that. But first I'm going to unpick this and let, you know, ready to let a piece in there. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Strange way of doing things. Well, the plan here so that will go like that, and that one goes in there. And if you look at the before and afters, you'll see, you know, this is what they have. It's a bit of a weird sort of little fillet they've let in there, but I'm replacing it because it was there. So that'll be spot welded, that edge, top edge. It's actually just sort of a few little MIG blobs, really, like that. So 3 different welding techniques needed here. The oxyacetylene, and that will be for this one across here. So I've tacked that, then I've got to run a seam, then I'll have to dress that out with a hammer and dolly, and this rear one across the back there is going to get spot welded, and then a bit of MIG weld on here, which probably would have been stick welding, but you can see these little sort of blobs here they've done, or little runs. So I'll do something similar to that. Well, not similar, I'll do something that looks like that. That's the plan. Then we've got to let that in, which again will be MIG. So there you go. And there's my stand, little welding stand, made out of an old Fiat Dino brake disc. They used to make these out of billet before they started remanufacturing the vented ones that you do today. So you sometimes find them on them. And when I do, I replace them with a billet. Yeah, sorry, with a proper one from Superformance. You know, although I think also you can get them out for the guys in Germany. So yeah, other brake discs are available, as they would say. So I've run a seam across there, but I did blow a hole just in the middle there, you see. And I might have to, you know, run over that again, and I've got to fill the ends up, obviously. But anyway, we're getting there. But what I'll do is where I blew that hole, if we look underneath, so you can see the little pimple there. Right, in there. If I nib that off with a little belt sander, then when I shrink it back down with the hammer and dolly, I won't be trying to push that metal into it, which will then cause it to raise up, cause like a lump. So that's the plan. So that's what I was saying about 3 different disciplines or types of welding to achieve this little job. Now, it's not quite finished because I've got to decide on this bit. See, this has got to be at the right level before I weld that one to the other one. But that should effectively line up, I would have thought, with that. So it has to come up to there. Do you see what I mean? But I'm going to double check that before I weld it in. But that's where we had a seam along the bottom there before, joining these 2 together. So I think that's what we've got to do. But we'll come back to that. Needs a little bit more work. But you can see what we're on about. We need the oxyacetylene. We needed a MIG welder. And we needed that spot welder, didn't we? So yeah, just through that little corner. So that was it. Use the old Ferrari bonnet prop. Yeah, use the Ferrari bonnet prop, push it up, keep it in place. That's about it. Obviously there's a little bit more to do in the corners. But that's it, isn't it? Back in as it was.